You know the time when you're just really stressed out, you just want to take a break, you want to relax. So you either grab a book, play a game, or just do something that you want to do. So usually, because I remember when I was a kid, whenever I get stressed out, I would read books like Harry Potter, Aragon, and also Game of Thrones. And those books are fantasy. So I'm going to be talking to you about 3 fantasy games that are very special to me and that I recommend to all you guys. But the first one that I'm going to talk about, a really old game that came out in November 11th, 2011, and that is Skyrim. Skyrim is a really good game made by Bethesda, and also they created by Creation Engine. And still, 10 million people still play this game till today, and it's a really old game too, and it still has wonderful graphics. And this game is about where you make your own character. You're about to, once you get in the game, you make your own character, and you're about to get killed. But then a dragon comes in, basically trying to kill you, so basically your first opponent is a dragon, but you escape. And then you're just left out in the world with really no quest except this one where you have to go to a village, but that's it. Everything else, you could just do whatever you want. You could just roam around, explore the world. And if you want to talk with a demon and just get drunk with him, yeah, you could do that. If you want to talk with a cat, yeah, you could do that. If you want to talk with a dog, there's a mission where you could talk with the dog. And also, if you want to rebel, you can rebel against the Imperials. Because there's these 2 factions, the Imperials and the Stormcloaks. You could either join each side. So whoever that you feel like is the best, you could join their side. So it's a lot of free will that you have. And there's a lot of time where you have to just do so much in the game. And at the same time, you can't finish it in a whole week or 2 weeks. It's really hard. I tried. And the second game that I'll be talking about now, and it's my favorite game, right now, the best game that I played, and that is The Witcher 3. The Witcher 3 was released by a CD, sorry, I forgot the name, but I'm so sorry. And it was released on May 19th, 2015, and it's the best game that I played so far. And 50 million people play this game, and I got that from Steam charts. And what the game is about is you play as Geralt of Rivia, Butcher of Blaviken, and you go into this world where you have to find your adopted daughter, Ciri. And you try your best to find her, and you can do whatever you want. You could sell her out, you could try to save her, or you could try to kill her. Doesn't matter. There's many things you could also do. There's so much adventure and free will in this game. It's almost like Skyrim, but except 10 times better. The difference is you're Geralt of Rivia. You don't make your own character. But it doesn't change it, because you can make Geralt as your own character. You could make Geralt act like a douchebag. You can make Geralt act like a nice person, or in between. You could be whatever you want. And those 2 games that I talk about, if you play them, and you love them, I recommend this last game to you guys. And it's extremely old game. Older than almost a lot of other games. It came out in 1974. And that is Dungeons and Dragons. The game that inspired basically Skyrim and The Witcher 3. And this game was made by Gary Garrix and Dave Anderson. And they made it in 1973, but they published it with Wizards of the Coast in 1974. And a lot of people still play this game. It's the best role-playing action game to be made, to be played. Sorry. It's the best game. And what you could do in this game is that there's basically no rules. You can do whatever you want. Make your own world, do that. Make your own dungeon, do that. Make your own character, do that. There's so much things you could do. It's basically you're writing your own storybook. You do everything in this game, whatever you want. And it's wonderful because I remember making my own first campaign. I took a whole entire day. I based it off Cthulhu. It was so much fun. And I actually, while we played it, I actually killed all my friends. Yeah. It's just so much fun to do it. And also, you could play with your friends. The other two games, you mostly play with yourself. You don't play with anybody else. It's a single player game. But with this game, it connects you with your friends, your family, everybody that you love. You could just play with them. It doesn't matter if it's 2 people, 3 people, 4 people. Hell, you could even do 20 people with a 1 dungeon campaign. It's just, you could do so much with this game. It's just the world is in your hands. You're basically, as the dungeon master, you're basically kind of like God of that world. So then I recommend these 3 games if you love fantasy. Like if you're a fantasy lover like me, I recommend the 3 games that you should definitely play. Because to me, they are the best games that have ever been made.
Yvonne, what did you think? Oh, we're 0 for 3 there. All right, Miguel, the visualization that you have at the beginning is not bad, but I think you need to be a little bit more compelling. It feels sort of abstract and vague. I know what your subject matter is. I know what the structure is going to be, so there is an organizational pattern to it. I'm just not exactly sure that it sounds much like a persuasive speech. It sounds like an informative speech where you're going to describe the characteristics of those games, and then you give an evaluation of each of those games. Now, the evaluation part could be a claim of value, but you have to tell us what the criteria are for making the judgment of value. And the only criteria that we get is that you liked it or that you were intrigued by it. And I think that you need to give us a little bit more to be convincing on that. Like I said, I thought that it might be better as an informative presentation than a persuasive speech. You do have this idea, I think, somewhere that there's a necessity for us to play some of these games to avoid stress in our lives or to kind of refocus or maybe to learn or kind of change our perspective or be more creative. And I like those ideas, but I don't get any evidence that says that people benefit from doing this, that they are more creative as a result, that their stress level goes down when they play these games. There's no research or information on this. There's just your kind of personal testimony. And I think you're a pretty honest person, and if I knew you better, I might believe you, and maybe I would join a Dungeons and Dragons cult and play that game with everybody. I'm not sure that I'm drawn in enough by your descriptions to say, well, that's what I want to do, and that it's going to have all these benefits for me. And I think that's the big problem here, that there's not a substantial amount of research. There's not really much of an argument that's being presented. It's reasonably well organized, but even the informative content is problematic at times. For example, on the second one, which you said is your favorite game, you struggled a little bit to remember details of who created it or how many people are playing it, that sort of thing, which is not a big deal because that's not really important to the persuasive part. What I'm wondering is how much more involving is it? How much less stress do people have having played that game? How much smarter do they get, or how much better are their lives as a result of playing those games? I don't get any information in regard to that, and that's the sort of thing we need to have more of for a persuasive speech. All right, thank you.